This next grouping of exercises is a stacked set. So we started with 12 overhead presses on the Smith machine. That was one set. Then we went back to the 12 overhead presses and then added the lateral raises with the dumbbells. Then we went back to the Smith machine and came back to the lateral raises, and now we're adding the front plate raise. So basically each set you're adding an exercise. So on this set, we are doing we've added the overhead face pulls for the rear delts. And then here we're doing this front dumbbell raise. You can tell I'm struggling here. This is on the fourth, I think this is actually the fifth set. This is just a combination of movements here. Welcome back. My name is Shannon. For those of you who don't know me, I am 5.5 weeks today into my contest prep for my show on May 4th. Things are going pretty good. I am, of course, having some diet fatigue, which is normal at this point in the game. I'm already dreaming about what I'm going to eat after the show. I'm definitely wishing I could have some ice cream or a hot Krispy Kreme donut or some Mexican food, pizza, thinking about all that good stuff, a burger. But I'm still sticking to my tilapia and sweet potatoes and vegetables and turkey. This morning I had an 8 o'clock appointment in Nashville, and so I was at my gym at 6 a.m. when they opened to do my fasting cardio, and I knew that I was going to have to figure out something to do for breakfast because I wasn't going to have time to come home to eat before I had to head into Nashville, because normally it takes me about 30 minutes to get into Nashville, but I knew in 8 o'clock traffic it was going to take at least an hour to get to my appointment. And it took an hour and 15 minutes, which is stupid. I was 15 minutes late to my appointment. But what I ended up doing for breakfast was I took 4 boiled egg whites. So I just took the yellow out of the boiled eggs. And I took a little to-go container of the Think Thin oatmeal, which has 10 grams of protein in it, and I got a coffee from Starbucks, which of course I put half and half and Splenda in. And because the oatmeal has more carbs than I usually eat, what I did was, in order to meet my calories and my macros for the day, is I just rearranged kind of what I was going to eat the rest of the day. So I took away one of my sweet potato meals, and another meal, I lowered the sweet potatoes to 2.5 ounces instead of 3. So that way it puts me back at my low kind of 1,400 calories, and it puts my carbs back down around 110. My protein, of course, is still around 166, 165, and my fat range is staying between 35 and 40 usually. So I'm right back on track again if I make those changes. So you just have to learn, if you're prepping, whether you're dieting or you're contest prepping, meal prepping in any way, you just have to think ahead about what you're going to do the next day and take food with you. Because if you go somewhere and you don't have food and you're hungry, you're going to end up stopping and getting something that later you wish you hadn't gotten, which might throw you off track. So I did good. I just ate that stuff in my car. Boiled eggs kind of stink, but I did eat them. And then today I'm going to do a leg workout. A couple of days ago, I was doing a shoulder workout with Rondell, and it was a really good workout, but for some reason it really irritated my left shoulder, which is weird because that's my good shoulder. My right shoulder is my shoulder I've had trouble with. So yesterday I didn't lift at all. I totally gave it a break. My low back was kind of hurting. My shoulder was hurting. I'd had 4 days in a row of lifting, and I just kind of felt like my body was telling me not to lift. So I listened to it. I did try to keep my activity up though. I still did my 2 25-minute cardio sessions throughout the day, and I walked the dog twice, and then Sean and I went and played disc golf or frisbee golf, whatever you want to call it, because it was such a pretty day. So I kept my steps around 10,000, and then of course, that's not including my cardio that I did. So I feel okay about yesterday. I weighed in yesterday at 136.6 pounds. So that puts me at a weight loss of about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds from when I started this new diet plan last week. So I'm happy with the way things are moving on the scale. That being said, though, Rondell and I are still holding off on paying for the show, which I think I've said before, the deadline is April 20th for me to sign up for the show without having to pay a late fee. I'm not even sure if you can sign up after April 20th. I'll have to check that out. But we're going to make the call a little closer to that date as to whether we think that I can be ready for the May 4th show. Because I'm a natural athlete, so I don't take anything to kind of help me. I don't take fat burners. I don't like fat burners, so I don't take them. I don't like the way they make me feel. I don't take diuretics. So I'm just trying to do this naturally. And I had more weight to lose in a shorter amount of time for this show than I did for my last show. So I just kind of want to give you guys a heads up that, this is the way that this kind of thing goes. If you're prepping for a show, if you're competitive and you want to show well, then, you kind of have to decide if you are ready to be competitive on stage or not. And I definitely don't want to sign up for a show and then bring less than I could to the stage. I want to be as good or better, preferably better, than I was in my show in July. So I'm still holding out hope we can make it, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a heads up that that's where we are in the planning process of things. So keep your fingers crossed that I continue to lose and that my body kind of comes in the way it's supposed to. One of the things I'm going to do this week is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to tally up what it cost for me to do my last show, to kind of give you an idea of how much it costs to compete, if you should be interested in that. Because I know some people who may be watching this may be thinking, oh, I want to do a show, and just kind of letting you know how much it costs. So I'll sit down this week and I'll go over that with you later in the week. Today, because my shoulder is still kind of bothering me, I'm going to do a leg workout on my own at my gym and try to do things that I don't have to use my upper body for. So I'm not going to squat because, getting in this position kind of irritates my shoulder, and I'm not going to deadlift. So I'm just kind of been writing down things that I could do to kind of get a good leg pump, leg burn, without having to either lift too heavy because my energy level is a little bit down, and not have to use my arms. So have a good week, and I will check in with you guys later in the week, and I'll see you later. Bye. Well, as you can tell from my red face, I just finished my workout. I did my legs, which I had said I was going to record for you guys, but it was really busy in the gym, so I didn't want to be that girl with her tripod and camera taking up time and all that stuff. So I just did my workout, which I have to say I kind of struggled through. But I did it. I got a good leg pump, and then afterwards I went in their aerobic room and practiced my posing for about 15 minutes because it's getting to be that time where I need to start practicing my posing in the heels more often so that once I get on stage I feel confident and it's more fluid. So I had a decent posing session. It went okay. But now I'm going to go home and have some lunch and chill out for a little bit. Well, it's the end of the week. We are now sitting at 5 weeks out from show day. I've been on this new diet plan for about 2 weeks. I'm approximately 2 pounds down. My measurements have kind of gone up and down in a good way though. Like my waist has gone down some, my legs, like my thighs and my calves actually both went up almost 1/2 inch, which is not a bad thing. It means we're hanging onto muscle or building new muscle. Arms went down a little bit, chest went down, hips actually went up a little bit, so maybe it means I'm growing some glutes. And the Fit3D scanner that we do, it has what they call a body rating scale. and that went up 2 points, which is good. That just shows your trunk to leg ratio. So I'm kind of scoring in the high range of that. I believe I was at 68 2 weeks ago, and I'm at 70 today. So that's a good thing. So all in all, things are moving in the right direction. The scale is just moving really slow and is frustrating the shit out of me. All this last week, I kind of fluctuated up and down on the scale. I started the week out at 136.4, and then for the rest of the week, I was between 137 and 138. Diet was the same, wasn't doing anything different. I think the main problem with me is that's different this year than last year is that this year I'm going through menopause. So I know that may be too much information for some of you guys, but you know, for those of you who might possibly be going through this, it's just different. You know, hormones are off, which plays effect in how you're losing weight. And so, yeah, I think that's the main difference and why I'm just losing slower this go around. I mean, my cardio, we've doubled, my calories we've restricted. So we're moving in the direction we should. It's just slow. Today I put the suit on for Rondell, did a little posing, which I will show you guys after this clip here. And all in all, he was pleased. Like, I was pretty frustrated all week and told him, you know, I don't know that we're gonna make this May 4th show. You know, we may just have to settle for the July show. But when I put the suit on, he actually said he thinks we can make it. So we're still gonna wait until April 20th to, you know, make the final call as to whether or not I'm gonna go ahead and pay and commit to the show. I'm hoping we can still do it. And today he actually, you know, told me that this week I can have a couple of cheat meals to hopefully fill out some of my muscles a little bit and help me heal up a little bit from my shoulder injury. So I'm gonna eat a little sushi tomorrow, and then my son is coming into town on Wednesday night. So I think Thursday, I'm gonna go eat some Mexican food. I've been craving Mexican food. So this week, just to recap, scale's a bitch, things are moving in the right direction. Energy level has been pretty low this week. Psyche's been a little bit low this week. I just haven't felt great. Sleep actually has been good, and sleep is a problem for me, but actually I've been sleeping pretty good this week. So that's the one positive. So I'm hoping that getting a couple of cheat meals this week will set me back right on the track that I need to be on mentally and physically to keep going towards this May 4th show. So that's pretty much it on the weekly wrap-up end of things. I had mentioned at the beginning of the week that I was going to talk to you a little bit about the cost of competing. It's not cheap to compete, so if you're thinking about competing, you need to take that into consideration. I wrote it down. So depending on the organization that you are in, you're going to have to pay an organization fee. So I am in the NPC organization, and that fee is $125 a year. So there's $125 right there. And then the shows that I have been in are anywhere from $100 a category to $150 a category. So this particular show for the May 4th show is $100 a category, and I'm going to probably sign up for two, which would be the open and the 45 and older. So that right there is $200. And then depending on what kind of suit you get, you can spend anywhere upwards from $150 all the way up to $1,000 depending on the suit. I lucked out. Last year I bought two used suits. Both of the suits cost me each $50 a piece. So $100 for two suits for me. So this is my suit that I'm gonna be wearing. So it's kind of this teal color. And I actually think I'm gonna bedazzle it a little bit more and put some more crystals and stuff kind of around these swirlies. So this is the bottoms. And this is the top. And then you also have your shoes that you have to get. So you have to wear 5-inch heels, and they are the clear shoes. You don't want anything lower than 5 inches because that's going to make your legs look shorter. So you want the legs to stay looking long. So these are the shoes. And I also got these used last year for $25, but these can also run you anywhere from 35 on up to about 100. Mine are very plain. Some of them have a bunch of like bedazzling stuff on the heels and in the platform. I just like the plain ones. There are two different kinds. You can get the kind with the strap across the ankle, which mine have. You can also get strapless, where you just slide them in like a mule type shoe. I may eventually go to the mules because I've had a bunch of people tell me they prefer those, but I have these, so I'm going to wear these this year anyway. And then you have your jewelry. So I just went with the cheap jewelry. It usually is big danglies. So crystally, big dangly, shinies, usually some crystally type bracelets, you know, rhinestones. Some people do rings, like big kind of crystal type rings. So I just went to like Claire's or the Icing. Any one of those places works fine for the jewelry. So I think total for my jewelry last year, I spent about $40. I think my earrings were $10, and then I got two different bracelets, which were about $10 a piece. And then I bought a spare set of earrings also, just in case one broke or got lost or something like that. Then you also have your hair and makeup, which, you know, I paid for the hair and makeup last year. I just used the makeup artist that the show was sponsoring, and that cost me $180. So that's pretty substantial. This year, I'm going to try to teach myself how to do it, and I'm going to try to get just some like over-the-counter drugstore type makeup, because I'm not ready to spend a lot of money on like MAC products and things like that. So once I start practicing, I'll film myself some and show you guys that process. And as you can see, I don't wear a lot of makeup. I actually have a little eye makeup on today, but I mean, a lot of the times when I do the videos for you guys, I don't have makeup on, and I don't wear makeup on a daily basis by any means. But I'm gonna probably do 2, maybe 3 shows in 2019, and if I had to spend $180 a pop, that would be crazy expensive. So I'm just gonna straighten my hair and try to do my own hair and makeup, and it will save me time and money because I won't have to try to make it to appointments for the makeup artists and, you know, wait in line with other competitors and worry about being late and all that kind of stuff. You also have to pay for the tan, and that depends on however much the tanning company charges. I highly recommend going with whatever tanning company your show is promoting, because that tanning company will almost always be backstage at the show to touch you up, and you will need to be touched up multiple times throughout the day. I got like handprints on my back from people hugging me, just, you know, that you get spots on it, it creases, you know, things like that. So you definitely will need to be touched up. And I want to say the tan last year was around $120. And then, you know, also if you have a trainer, you have to take that into consideration. I trained last year with Rondell anywhere from 2 to 3 days a week, and my training cost me over $1,000. Actually, how much was my training? No, actually, I take that back. My training cost me over $2,000. So all in all, everything added up, the show itself with the tan, the makeup, the jewelry, the suit, the organization fees, the competition fees, that all cost me about $1,010. And then I've got my trainer fees in there as well. So you're looking at over $3,000. Now, I don't necessarily count the trainer fees because that's something that I'm just gonna do anyway. I like having somebody push me. But you know, if you're thinking about it, I highly recommend getting a trainer, especially if this is your first show, because I tried to do it on my own for about 8 months before I ended up with Rondell, and I was working out 5-6 days a week, but my body just wasn't responding. And it wasn't until we like changed my diet and the types of exercising and the intensity of the exercising that I was doing that I began to see really, you know, the results that I needed to see. So as you can tell, competing is expensive, but for me it was worth it. And you know, I'm sure there are ways you can do it budget-wise. You can rent suits. if you don't feel like you have the money to buy a suit. But a lot of the times you can buy suits cheaper than you can rent them. Some of the rental fees are $150, $250, just depending on how expensive the suit would be to buy. But there are organizations or places online where you can rent suits also. So I recommend, if you are thinking about competing, try to put some feelers out and see if you can find some used suits to buy. Reach out to gyms, to different organizations, and just see if you can find people trying to sell their suits, because that's really the best way, is to just buy some used suits. So anyway, I will see you guys in week 4, and I can't believe we're coming up a month out. Hopefully we'll make it. Y'all keep your fingers crossed. Send me some words of encouragement, and don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button for me. Thanks.